Switzerland has the world's second highest GDP per capita at $86,850 based on the IMF's 2020 statistics. The services sector generates about 74% of Switzerland's gross domestic product, while the industry sector generates only 25%. Agriculture makes up less than 1% of the total economy. Switzerland's main trading partner is the European Union. Switzerland has always been a popular destination for wealthy travelers due to its high income, stable economy, and low tax rates. Foreign-born multimillionaires make up more than a quarter of the population and control more than half of the country's wealth. Switzerland's inheritance tax policy is more favorable than that of other European countries, making it easier for the wealthy to keep and pass on their fortunes. In this video, we will be answering the question, how does Switzerland make its money? Number 7. Inventions. Switzerland was a pioneering, industrialized nation, despite its lack of natural resources. As a result, during the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the Swiss economy flourished significantly. You may think of chocolate and watches when considering Switzerland's greatest achievements, but the country is also famed for exporting its inventions. The most significant contributions come from pharmaceuticals, precious stones, and chemicals. Number 6. Industry for domestic consumption. Another defining trait of Switzerland is its emphasis on domestic industries. Because of the country's pro-free trade stance, indigenous production has taken a precedence over the import of low-cost commodities from other countries. As a result, Switzerland is far more expensive than the rest of Europe. Number 5. Watches. Switzerland's expert watchmakers have dominated the industry throughout history. Swiss manufacture is the most straightforward way to ensure a high-quality, visually pleasing, and long-lasting wristwatch. It is difficult to make a mistake when purchasing a Swiss watch, because the Swiss watchmaking tradition has weathered several industrial revolutions and upheavals, from the days of the conventional pocket watch, through the quartz crisis and the debut of the Apple Watch. The competence and history of Swiss watchmakers can be traced back centuries. The French and Dutch dominated the business until Swiss watchmakers gained international fame. During the Renaissance, the first portable clocks or watches were created. These 3-inch diameter watches could be used as timepieces or jewelry. At the start of the Reformation, Germany was the epicenter of a series of violent religious upheavals and fights. Following the unrest in France, a group of Huguenot watchmakers moved to Switzerland, where society and business were more stable. The migration of experienced French watchmakers had a significant impact on the Swiss watchmaking industry. Geneva has been known as the hub of Swiss watchmaking since the 1500s. The Calvinist prohibition on wearing jewelry ruined business for goldsmiths and jewelers in the 16th century. They shifted their focus to watchmaking, creating exquisite designs to complement the clockwork. By blending elegance and precision, the renowned Swiss watchmaker industry arose from austerity. The Genevan restriction on wearing jewelry was removed in the late 1700s, and the Swiss watchmaking industry prospered. Watchmaking and clockmaking technologies flourished in the Swiss Jura Mountains. The concept of labor division was first introduced to the watchmaking industry by Daniel Jean Ricard. Swiss watchmakers, unlike their French and British competitors, use mass production techniques and a decentralized strategy. The Swiss were able to make superior watches to their European competitors. Switzerland manufactured over 2 million timepieces in 1850, while the United Kingdom only produced 200,000. In order to get access to the rapidly growing American watch market, the Swiss began to place a premium on quality. By the way, we're on a mission to inspire people like yourself to make generational wealth, so make sure to subscribe if that sounds like you. Number 4. Manufacturing for export. The industrial sector accounted for 25% of Switzerland's gross domestic product in 2017. Switzerland is a major exporter in the world. This country's pharmaceutical business is one of the most competitive in the world. Two of Switzerland's most well-known pharmaceutical businesses are Roche and Novartis, which are also two of the world's largest biotechnology companies. Chemicals and food are also produced in the country, including the foodstuffs giant Nestlé. Vaccinations, watches, firearms, orthopedic equipment, and medications are among its other exports. Chocolate, cheese, and wine are among the agricultural products exported. Number 3. Tourism. Due to its varied geography and the diversity of sports that take advantage of the alpine climate, such as skiing and climbing, Switzerland is a popular tourist destination. In 2016, tourism contributed 2.6% to Switzerland's gross domestic product, around 16.8 billion Swiss francs. British mountaineers conquered the peaks of the Bernese Alps in the early 1800s, kicking off tourism in Switzerland. Getting rid of tuberculosis, especially in the alpine environment, was an important catalyst of tourism in the 19th and early 20th centuries. The fictitious detective Sherlock Holmes drowned near Reichenbach Falls in Meiringen, according to Arthur Conan Doyle's short story The Final Problem. In 2011, there were 4,967 hotels and hostels registered, with 240,024 beds and 128,000 rooms. Official tourism statistics were not collected until 1934, despite the fact that they were initially proposed in 1852. The Rhine Falls, the Free Bernese Bear Display, and the Basel Zoo are among Switzerland's most famous tourist attractions. Number 2. Banking and finance. Switzerland's importance as a worldwide financial center goes back centuries. The nation is renowned for dependability of its financial system and the secrecy of its transactions. In addition, it has a well-earned reputation as a safe location for gold storage. Beginning in the 16th century, a considerable number of Huguenots and other Protestant refugees sought religious freedom in the reformed regions of Switzerland, primarily Geneva, Basel, and Zurich. Due to the fact that many of these exiles were excellent craftspeople and businesspeople, manufacturing companies flourished. The enormous growth in the nation's capital inflow was a direct outcome of the increased demand for manufactured goods. Despite Switzerland's relative neutrality throughout the wars of religion, a number of Swiss troops fought as mercenaries in other countries, bringing additional money to Switzerland. The infusion of capital that Switzerland experienced resulted in the expansion of Switzerland's banking industry. Additionally, Catholic European regions were less tolerant of financial sector activities motivated by religion than Calvinist Switzerland. Switzerland's neutrality in the aftermath of Europe's conflicts contributed to the country's improved reputation as a reliable site for financial activities. The physical location of Switzerland, in addition to the country's political neutrality, had a crucial impact in the development of Switzerland as a global financial powerhouse. Switzerland is a small country that is landlocked and has limited natural resources, yet it has expanded its economy through the industrial and financial services sectors. Additionally, the steep terrain allowed for the effective construction of gold storage vaults. At the time, Switzerland was surrounded by France, northern Italy, and German states, which were all emerging economic powerhouses. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, the Swiss banking industry grew substantially due to its well-known reputation for secrecy. In 1713, the Council of Geneva first formalized the prohibition against financial companies disclosing clients' personal information. In the late 1700s and early 1800s, wealthy European aristocrats sought a secure haven for their wealth amidst political and social unrest, which led to the founding of a number of financial institutions in Switzerland. Later, when governments grew more powerful and imposed more tax obligations, merchants and enterprises flocked to Swiss banks as their preferred destination for financial activities. In 1932, in reaction to a raid that had been undertaken on the Paris branch of a Swiss bank, as part of an effort to combat tax evasion in that country and increased attention from German authorities, Switzerland tightened its legislation safeguarding the confidentiality of its financial transactions. The Swiss Banking Act of 1934, which remains in effect, prohibits bank employees from disclosing any information about a customer or former customer of the bank. In the 1980s, neighboring governments began exerting pressure on Switzerland in an effort to recover tax revenue from foreign individuals who held assets in Swiss institutions. In contrast, a 1984 referendum to loosen privacy regulations was defeated by a margin of 73 to 23, preserving Switzerland's long-standing practice of safeguarding financial anonymity. Switzerland is usually ranked among the top nations for banking safety and security, and is still considered a hub of financial activity. Number 1. Gold storage. Since gold was essentially synonymous with money and wealth until very recently, Switzerland has always had a natural affinity for the yellow metal, and therefore gold has always been significant to Switzerland. Additionally, Switzerland's industrial expertise in the jewelry and watch sectors contributed to the growth of the precious metals industry. Numerous auxiliary industries, such as metal refining, also prospered there. 4 of the world's 6 largest gold refiners are headquartered in Switzerland. Each year, about the same amount of gold is carried via Switzerland as is mined in the rest of the globe. As a prerequisite for joining the International Monetary Fund in the 1990s, Switzerland was the latest nation to abandon a largely gold-backed currency. Much more recently, there was an attempt to partially reinstate the gold standard in the country, but the 2014 referendum failed. Switzerland has maintained its status as a financially secure nation, despite the increasing uncertainty of the global environment. And if you found this video useful, then you'll love these. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment saying, "I subscribed." We will personally reply to your comment.